on a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere. I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, "If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done." Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he'd finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. But in his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold up, when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done.
There's quite a few seats up here if people want to sit down or shuffle up. There's quite a few spare seats, so feel free. Hot pies are back on the menu. Geez, it's gone quiet out there tonight. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Hot pies. What a magnificent start to the season. Another great win by the young fellas. What a great way to start my weekend. You effing beauty. Those were just a few of the words Colin shared straight from his Facebook page. And if you knew Colin, you can probably hear his voice in every one of those lines. Because that was him. He was passionate, he was loyal, and he was invested. Especially when it came to his beloved Collingwood. But those posts weren't just about footy. They were a glimpse into the way that he lived his life, in the moment, honest and with no hesitation in showing what mattered to him. And today we gather to honour that life. My name is Ali Dennison, an independent celebrant, and along with my colleagues here at Parkside Funerals, we are honoured to guide Colin's celebration of life today. This is a service that reflects Colin, laid back, honest, and full of stories. On behalf of Colin's family, thank you for being here, and a warm welcome to those watching via live stream. Your presence is felt. As a sign of respect, I kindly ask that you switch your mobile phones to silent. I'd like to acknowledge and thank those of you that have worn something today that reminds you of Colin, especially all the Collingwood stuff. What a way to honour him. Following today's service, you are warmly invited to join the family at the Burnie Golf Club from 3 p.m. to continue sharing stories and memories of Colin. Today we honour Colin Glenn Prouse, a man whose life we are here to celebrate and whose passing has come far too soon. Born on the 2nd of February 1967 and passing on the 26th of April 2026. And it seems only fitting that he held on to see his beloved Collingwood win on Anzac Day. A much-loved son of Glenn and Poppy, his dad was a returned serviceman which formed part of the foundation that Colin was raised on. He was an adored husband to Karen, a loving dad to Siobhan, who Colin wanted to call Dacos, Zach, Tobias, Kane, Jackson and Tilly. A very special shit pop to Indigo, Ely and Bailey. A cherished younger brother to Anna and Kathy, and someone who was admired by many. And as his family have so beautifully said, those whose hearts he reached will never be the same. Colin was a husband, a dad, a pop, a mate, and a bit of a character. A Collingwood supporter through and through, whether they won or lost. Although Karen, an Essendon supporter, did say she always hoped they'd win because Colin didn't sulk as much. Colin would try and convert everyone, new grandchildren and family members, to Collingwood by buying them Collingwood-themed gifts. His family refer to it as trying to inject the Collingwood venom into any new potentials. He was very passionate. Colin was the youngest of three, with two much older sisters, Anna and Kathy. Born and raised in Montello, he completed the family of 5, and with sisters 13 and 10 years older, he was by all accounts a little bit spoilt. His early years were full of energy and a fair bit of mischief. There was the time that he ate a packet of cigarettes that were left near his cot. Another time he drank metho that his dad had left out. And while the family knew that he'd had something that he shouldn't have, they'd assumed that he'd just eaten the plastic grapes out of the fruit bowl. He was the Energizer Bunny, always moving, always running, never walking. Kathy referred to the phrase, a little shit stirrer that wouldn't sit still. His mum would constantly tell him to slow down, advice that didn't always stick, including one night that ended up with him putting his backside through a window. Colin attended St Anne's Primary, Stella Maris and Maris College. At school he'd leave a cardboard box at the top of the hill and slide down it so he didn't have to walk the goat track. He took the clock off the wall in his grade 6 classroom and drew one in its place. The teacher said, "I'm going out for a few minutes and I want that clock back up," knowing exactly who to lay the blame on. Of an afternoon, the whole class would stop because of Colin, all turning to look out the window to see if Anna was coming to pick him up on her motorbike. At the opening of the Burnie Olympic Pool in 1969, before it had even officially opened, before the hierarchy cut the ribbon, Colin dived in. That instinct to just go for it stayed with him for his whole life. The Burnie pool was a big part of his life, as he and his sisters all had a season ticket to the pool and they spent a lot of their time there. Colin and his dog Manuka would walk to the pool and Manuka would wait outside until Colin finished his swim. Family holidays were big, and being the baby of the family and the only one left at home, he had great family holidays that looked like Brampton Island, Singapore, Ayers Rock and Alice Springs. And one of Poppy's favourite stories to tell her grandchildren was about putting Colin to bed, hearing a banging noise and finding that he'd pushed the trampoline up beside the house and was bouncing away. As Colin got older, his friends became everything. The kids across the road and around the corner, they were his life. His mum would take time off work to spend time with him in the school holidays, and she eventually stopped because he was never home anyway. Colin was small in stature, taking after his father, but what he lacked in size, he made up for in appetite. He had an amazing metabolism, barbecue Samboy chips right before bed in bulk. And like most younger brothers, he learnt quickly where the boundaries were. When Anna was nursing, she'd come home after a big night at the top of the town looking forward to her Coke, and Colin soon learnt not to touch it. After he completed school, Colin headed to Mount Gambier to dig potatoes. When he returned, he worked as a butcher at Blue Ribbon in Camdale, where there was a close call with a knife that could have ended very differently. And from that day on, he would always ask the kids if they wanted to know what was in a saveloy when they were eating it. When Blue Ribbon shut down at Camdale, he retrained as a baker in Launceston. He worked at Hennessy's in Devonport and later at Woolworths in Burnie and Wynyard. Baking wasn't just his job, it was something he was known for. His glasses were always coated in flour. He made the best birthday cakes, cream horns and eclairs. He would make Von her own special cream horns, no jam, just the way she liked them, and he would make her hot cross buns, no fruit, but her own packet of chocolate chip. It was those little details that mattered to Colin. He worked right up until February this year, until he was simply too unwell to continue. He never got the chance to retire, but he lived fully right up until the end. Colin played football, cricket and basketball. He played football for Yeoman and Caprona, and despite being small in stature, he was known as Rambo. Apparently runts aren't that great at football, but Colin was told that he was a good runt. He couldn't see without his glasses, so he would just follow that red blurry thing around the field. When Von would ask her friends home to meet Dad and she would refer to him as Rambo, they were very uncertain and cautious. Then this little man, full of personality, would jump out and introduce himself. He was the total opposite. Later, golf became his life. Thursday, Friday and Saturday competition golf. And a steady rotation of golf clubs, often because the previous ones didn't survive. He took Von golfing once. She outdrove him, so he never took her again. Colin's life included 3 significant relationships, and together they created a large blended family. After welcoming Von and Zach in the 90s with Janelle, Colin later welcomed Jackson and Tilly in the 2000s with Alicia, and became a father to Alicia's 2 boys, Tobias and Kane. Family life wasn't traditional, but it was full of love. He could be stern when he needed to be. If Mum had exhausted her options, Colin stepped in and the kids ran. For Von and Zach, time in the early years at Dad's meant steak well done, eggs runny and chips burnt to a crisp. We now have the privilege to hear from those who knew Colin as Dad. His children have taken the time to put their thoughts and memories into words, and I'd like to share words from Zach with you now. Old boy. I didn't think I'd be writing this so soon, but I have been preparing it for a while now, sadly. Nothing is perfect, and neither was our relationship, but there is still a bond and love that will never be replaced. And I appreciate everything, the good and the bad. If I've learnt one thing from you, it's definitely not how to control my temper that I got from you. What I have learnt, though, is that every day can be a good day if you crack a joke and talk about the Pies. I know you're still mad about the Eagles winning in 2018, but I will always have the memory of you giving me that premiership photo. And everyone who knows you knows how hard that would have been for you. I know you've already told Grandma about her 3 beautiful great-grandkids, Indigo, Ely and Bailey. I promise to make sure they always know who you are and how much you love them. I've got it from here, old boy, and I will look after the family, especially your 2 girls. I promise to keep your family traditions going for you. I'm glad I got to tell you one last time that I loved you, even if I didn't say it enough. But funnily enough, that's another trait I got from you. Thank you for all the memories. I'll keep them with me forever, just like some of my best memories are of you teaching me to play golf when I was young, then playing comps on weekends when I was young to going out every weekend. I was over at your house in Devonport for a hit when I was older. Until we meet again, rest easy, old boy, and make sure you're having a hit up there. Go Pies. Love you, Dad. Shit Pop. Zach, Shelby, Ely and Bailey. I would now like to invite Tilly up to share a few words. That's okay. Okay, I'd love to share Tilly's words for you. Out of respect, I guess we should say Colin, but most of us know him as Rambo, Prouse or Prouse. Although to Von, Zach, Tobias, Kane, Jackson and Matilda Ella, he is Dad. And to Indigo, Ely and Bailey, he is Shit Pop. As we look back and think of the man with many names and many lives, some could say he has been a teacher of sorts. As a sports person, he has taught us that it probably isn't okay to throw your golf clubs in trees when the ball doesn't go in the direction you thought it should. He also taught us that it is responsible gambling by not placing a bet on the greyhound and horse racing when watching them at home and getting all the kids to choose a number, colour or name, depending on said child's age group. He also taught us passion through cheerleading, coaching, pretending to be a player and an umpire while watching his beloved football team, Collingwood. Although perhaps he shouldn't have tried to be all those things, because that's how your Collingwood socks end up in the fire. But he always had passion for what was important to him. He taught us that it's okay to be a fully grown adult man and still be able to shop in the kids section. That the Lizzie McGuire movie can be your favourite, even if you can't own up to it, and blame it on your 2 daughters. Although we all definitely heard him sing What Dreams Are Made Of, word for word, every time the film played. He taught it was awesome to be able to bake with your kids and play tea parties with your baby girl. He thought it was more than okay not to own a sports car to do blockies around the Devonport Bluff, because you can load the kids in the back of the Tarago, put the windows down, and the doof-doof music happened to always be The Gambler. It was also very important for the kids to know the lyrics to The Gambler, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. This was generally taught before the alphabet. He taught us patience when shopping in Kmart for birthday presents, only to leave with a $5 Power Ranger phone after hours of looking around. Drinking responsibly does not mean leaving your whiskey on the table at the family barbecues for children to try, or even perhaps just giving them their first drink of Johnny Walker at the ripe age of being nowhere close to legal. But for it sure did make him a proud father for those kids who enjoyed it. Plus, just because you tell a joke doesn't mean you have to follow it by clearing the room with a stinky fart. But for Colin, a room could never be exited without having a good belly laugh, the kind that would make you start crying. Even when he wasn't wearing his superhero onesie, all 6 of his children and his 3 granddaughters always saw him as the greatest hero of all. His greatest lessons taught were to always be true to yourself, always smile, have a great banter with your mates, and it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, so it doesn't matter if you have a beer with your breakfast. Tilly says, before I finish, we all know that Prouse loved a good statistic, so let's give him one for the road. We know we have a show of 6 hands for his 6 kids, 3 for his grandbabies and 2 for his siblings. Now let's see a show of hands for those who called him Colin. A show of hands for those who called him Rambo. And for those who called him Prouse or Prousey. Now everyone raise your hand, as we wouldn't be here if he hadn't touched our lives in every way, shape or form. We all love you, mate. Thank you for those words. Dad will always hold a special place in your hearts. Around 9 years ago, Karen came into Colin's life. They met on Zoosk, chatted for a couple of hours and she invited him over. And just like a permanent squatter, he never left. Karen, while working for the police at the time, was understandably cautious. But when she came home after a night out watching a performance, she was surprised that her household goods were still there, and so was Colin. And that was the beginning of their love story. She then realised she should have known Colin. She recalls him sitting on the bench outside Woolies, as they both shared the same work car park and also worked at the same place for a short time, just on different shifts, a bit like sliding doors. They built a home together. They would lay on the concrete slab and picture each room. Planting gardens in pots in advance, in very heavy pots, so they could have a semi-established garden to take with them to the new home, seemed like a great idea until moving day. Their home was shared with their much-loved little companions, their adored fur babies, Izzy and Poppy. Having 9 children between them, fur babies were the best option. When Karen became unwell in 2018, they had only been together a little over 12 months. At that stage, Karen's kids were still getting to know Colin. But in that moment, he stepped in without hesitation. He found himself navigating a situation that would have been confronting for anyone, caring, showing up, and simply doing what needed to be done. He stayed with the kids, supported them, and quietly took on that role. And from that point on, things shifted. He wasn't just Mum's partner anymore. He became someone they could rely on, someone steady and present. He loved Karen deeply and he cared for her in his own way, not through big words, but through what he did. And her children are incredibly thankful for that place he came to hold in their lives. In April 2022, Colin proposed to Karen by taking her into the jewellery store and asking her to pick out a ring. On the 8th of October 2022, at Colin's favourite place, the Burnie Golf Club, they tied the knot with their favourite people watching on. They travelled, brought a motorhome, made memories travelling across Tasmania, sometimes just down the road for a night away, sometimes further. Holidays to the mainland with groups of friends for sporting matches and other adventures, and even climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge with his great mate Gary. He went to footy games and Colin would high-five strangers all the way through the city when Collingwood won, jumping, clicking his heels in the air, but sulking when they didn't. He was a man of big actions. He showed love through what he did. If he saw something he thought someone would like, he would buy it for them. He sent good morning Snapchats, and if you didn't get one, you knew something wasn't right. He was thoughtful, generous, and always there. And then there were the antics, calling people after he'd had a few drinks, flicking his friends' teeth out at the RSL and taking photos of the teeth in random places, on the bar, in the toilet, wherever he could. Putting dead spiders on the kids. Slipping into one of the guests' high heels at his wedding and dancing the night away. Teaching Siobhan how to braid hair because he knew when he used to braid bread. Also teaching her to roll cigarettes because it was difficult for him to drive and roll. When he decided to call his granddaughter Blue rather than Indigo, she responded by referring to him as Shit Pop, which stuck, and Colin loved that name, being the shit stirrer that he was. He also had his own habits and little quirks. He was a Johnny Walker collector, although the good bottles were strictly for display only. Red Label was for drinking, anything above that was to look at, unless of course it was a sample bottle. He loved music, the gambler, especially after a few drinks, often perform whether anyone asked or not. But Colin himself had no musical talent whatsoever. After making the family suffer through recorder, he was eventually handed a triangle, just to be safe. He loved his mates. He loved trips away, golf weekends, long days that turned into very long nights. One special memory was playing golf on the East Coast. Colin wasn't happy with how he was playing, so he hurled a golf club into the tree. And as far as Karen is aware, that's where it still remains. And this happened on more than one occasion. Colin had a great relationship with his brother-in-law Jim. They would consume far too many tasty beverages and listen to Kiss an Angel Good Morning by Charlie Pride. When Colin and his mum Poppy took Siobhan and Zach to Mount Gambier for a holiday, Colin and Jim went to take the cans to the recycling. They left at 10 a.m. in the morning and returned home at 10 p.m. that night. While the kids thought it was hilarious the state they arrived home in, it wasn't quite as amusing for Kathy and Poppy. Colin and Jim then got the munchies, cooking up toast, and may have forgotten they'd promised the kids a day at the beach the next morning. A 4-hour drive that made for a very long day. About 5 years ago, Colin had a melanoma on his leg and he decided it was time to get it checked. That's when he discovered his Medicare card had actually expired 9 years earlier. In the last 3 years, cancer unfortunately became a bigger part of his life. But he took it in his stride. He worked as long as he could. He played golf as long as he could. And he remained positive right until the end. We're now going to take a moment to reflect on Colin's life through photographs, moments captured across the years with his friends and his family.
To Karen and the rest of the Prouse family, just wanted to do this video, let you know I'm thinking of you guys. I hear that Colin was a massive Collingwood supporter, diehard for so many years. Hopefully he enjoyed watching us Pies play, on behalf of the Collingwood Football Club. we extend our thoughts and prayers with you guys. Appreciate your support, and hopefully it's a day where you can celebrate all the great things Colin's done. And like I said, appreciate the support. Look forward to hopefully seeing you guys at the game soon. Go Pies.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, in America too. She's a good girl, is crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and her boyfriend too. And it's a long day, living in Reseda. There's a freeway running through the yard, and I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart. And I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. Now the vampires walking through the valley move west down Ventura Boulevard, and all the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and the good girls are home with broken hearts. I'm free, I'm free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. Free falling now, free falling now. Free falling now, free
Whenever I chance to meet some old friends on the street, they wonder, how does a man get to be this way? I've always got a smiling face, anytime and any place. And every time they ask me why, I just smile and say, you've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home. Well, people may try to guess the secret of a happiness, but some of them never learn it's a simple thing. The secret I'm speaking of is a woman and a man in love, and the answer is in this song that I always sing. You've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home. Kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home.
You're better off if you don't ask why. I'm not the reason that you go astray, and we'll be alright if you don't ask me to stay. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night, and if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me. Don't know how you met me, you don't know why you can't turn around and say goodbye. All you know is when I'm with you, I make you free and swim through your veins like a fish in the sea. I'm singing, follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night, and if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me. I'm singing, follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night, and if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me. I'm singing, follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night, and if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me.
On behalf of Colin's family, thank you for your support, your presence and your kindness over these past days. They will need that same care and understanding in the times ahead as they begin to adjust to life without him. Before we move into the next part of the service, I'd like to share a few thoughts about grief and about how we can best support Colin's family in the weeks and months to come. People care, and because we care, we often feel the need to say something, to offer advice or to find the right words to try and ease the pain. We remind people to stay strong. We suggest keeping busy. We try to bring comfort in ways that feel helpful. But grief doesn't work like that. It doesn't follow a plan, and it doesn't move in a straight line. And it doesn't respond to being rushed. Grief finds its way into the ordinary moments, in the quiet, in the routines, and in the spaces where someone used to be. For Colin's family, life has shifted. Things will feel different, sometimes in ways that are hard to explain. So in the time ahead, they don't need solutions. They don't need the perfect words because there aren't any. What they need is simple. They need people to check in, people to sit with them, and people who will listen. People who will understand that some days will be heavier than others. The greatest thing you can offer this family is your time, your patience, and your presence. I now please ask for the family to come forward for placing of petals before we move into the committal.
On a warm summer's eve, on a train bound for nowhere, we met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away.
We now move into the moment of committal as we pause together and prepare to farewell Colin with our love and respect. Colin, you are so dearly loved. You are in our hearts and our minds, and we will carry you with us as we move forward with our lives. Everything you have done is still done. Everyone you love is still loved. Everything we've learnt from you is still learnt. And so we will let you pass from this world for which you did so much and which you continue to do. Because when we walk this earth, we walk it with you. You leave us with the strength and pride to do what is good and right, and your memory will guide us just as you did when you were at our side. Thank you for all that you were and all that you gave. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. As we farewell Colin today, we do so with gratitude for the stories, for the laughter, for the chaos and for the love. And in the days ahead, there will be moments when Colin feels close, in the small things, in the memories that catch you off guard, in the habits, the sayings, and the things that only he would do. He won't be here in the way you'd like, but he will still be around you in those quiet, unexpected ways. Sometimes you just have to slow down, notice it, and allow yourself to feel it. Colin, your work here is done. You are now reunited with the loved ones who have gone before you, and those whose hearts you reached will never be the same. Rest easy. Up the pies.
Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barrackers are shouting as all barrackers should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood. Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barrackers are shouting as all barrackers should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood. Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barrackers are shouting as all barrackers should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood. a cake.